Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad to have you here today because today marks the anniversary of my YouTube channel. I mean, to think that a year before I only had 5 subscribers or something like that, and that today I have 17,000 subscribers. That is absolutely insane. So in this video, I basically just want to do 3 things. Number 1, I want to tell you about my story of how my idea to create my YouTube channel came about, and in it I'm just going to sprinkle some tips and tricks of the things that worked for me. Number 2, I want to talk about my analytics. I remember that when I was going through this phase of creating a YouTube channel, I was very curious to see other people's analytics, especially small YouTubers. So I'm basically going to do a deep dive of my analytics and show you the turning points in terms of the trends that my channel had throughout the year. And number 3, I just want to show you what happens behind the scenes. So what are the things that I used in order to start my YouTube channel, and that goes from the camera that I use to the editing software that I use and to how I edit. So let's start with the story. I think that this story is actually pretty interesting because this is not the first YouTube channel that I have. It's not the first YouTube channel that I've created. So I think that that's a fun fact because it does give you a little bit of perspective in terms of understanding that I didn't just get lucky and the first time that I tried making a YouTube channel, it just simply succeeded. That's not what happened. So basically, before I started this channel, I knew that I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I didn't know what I wanted to start a YouTube channel about. So I uploaded a video talking about my experience at boarding school. But I was not consistent with the YouTube channel. So I think that I uploaded maybe 2 or 3 videos after that, very sporadically throughout that first year of starting my first YouTube channel, and then I stopped. The second YouTube channel that I started, I had a better idea of what I wanted to do. So I told myself that I wanted to do a story time YouTube channel. So I started uploading, I think like a video every month. Again, I was not super consistent with it. So ultimately, I just stopped doing it because I didn't have that much material to tell stories. And therefore, I think that the choice of the theme that I made for my second YouTube channel was the wrong one because I didn't have that much to speak on in terms of story times. So this YouTube channel came about from a conversation that I had with my mom in the kitchen, and she was telling me that I should talk to people about languages. She thought that I was talented, like any mom, but I actually took her word. And I decided that I would make my third YouTube channel about languages. So mind you, this YouTube channel adventure didn't happen like one after the other. It happened in the span of 3 or 4 years. So guys, now I want to give you some tips on what I think made my third channel ultimately successful. I think that you have to have an overall idea in terms of what your YouTube channel is going to be. If you watch videos like this that give advice about how to make a YouTube channel, you're probably going to hear the word niche. And that basically means that you just have to come up with a common theme for your channel. Now, I sort of agree, I sort of don't. I think that it is definitely important for you to be constant with your channel, but the content of your channel doesn't have to be the theme. It could be your personality, like Jenna Marbles. She could literally talk about anything and still get a ton of views in her videos. So her particular constant is not what she talks about, is how she talks about it. For other people like Emma Chamberlain is her editing style. So obviously not all of us have a 1 in a million personality, and not all of us have an incredibly distinct editing style. I think that those are the 2 things that are probably the hardest to create. So it's okay if you want to just create a channel where the constant is the theme. So I think that one thing that I had to learn is that the most important thing was for me to be authentic to myself and to do something that I enjoyed. So at the beginning of all of this, like YouTube journey and creating my channels, I was kind of like going with the trends. I was going with the story time trend because those were the channels that I watched, but it was also something that I thought was going to catch the attention of a lot of viewers. And I didn't think that, languages would do the same thing. But actually it was the reverse. My language videos obviously caught the attention of more people than my story time videos, mainly because the story time videos, or like the story time domain, was very competitive and it was very crowded in terms of creators. So in order for my storytime content to have caught the attention of a particular audience, it would have to have been amazing in that domain. But obviously the language domain was not as crowded, so it was ultimately easier for me to get noticed. So my main point with this is to have a constant, whether it be your personality, your editing style, or the theme of your channel across your videos that can draw an audience. My second tip is to envision the content that you're going to create, at least a few steps forward. So at the beginning of my channel, when I was just creating my first few videos, after I had created my first, second, and third video, I ran out of ideas. I didn't know what else to do. I had made the obvious videos and I basically didn't know how to expand the language topic or the language theme anymore. So for an entire week, I basically just brainstormed and then I came up with an idea. It was very difficult to be creative. It was very difficult to be innovative, but it is something that is essential in order for you to succeed in this platform. YouTube is very competitive, and in order for you to succeed, you have to create good content. And good content means, number one, quality content, and number two, innovative content. So it is essential for you to bring something new to the table, because you can't just rely on recreating things over and over again unless your recreation is something masterful. So ultimately, you just can't rely on complete recreation and imitation of what has been done before. I would suggest that if you want to create a very successful channel, you have to distinguish yourself somehow, and in order to do that, of course, you can recreate other videos like I have done myself with like the video where I speak like 5 languages. That video has been made over and over again, but I have compensated for that recreation with videos that you can basically only find in my channel. Like, for example, my video where I make a monologue breaking up with people in 5 different languages. So the TLDR of this is to, after you have thought of the theme of your channel, to think of 5 video ideas that you want to make. Obviously, you don't have to make the videos, you don't have to plan them, you don't have to outline them, you just have to have the idea. And if it's impossible for you to think of 5 video ideas, this is probably not the theme that you should choose, because that means that you're just going to run out of material very quickly. But ultimately, I would advise you to envision the content of your channel so that you don't run into the roadblock that I ran into when I was first creating my YouTube channel. Alright guys, let's check out the analytics, which is probably the reason why you clicked on this video in the first place. So when you create a YouTube channel, you'll automatically have access to your channel's analytics. And as you can see on the screen, the analytics basically just measure the progress of your channel through time. I started this YouTube channel on December 19th of 2019, so about a year ago, and the first month I was able to garner 392 views and 64 subscribers. So I only started seeing real progress until May, so about 5 months after I had started my YouTube channel. And before May, I only averaged about 100 to 200 views per day. However, my channel shot up on exactly June 11th, and thereafter I started to average about 2,000 views per day. So about 1,800 more views than I would usually average. So the trend of your YouTube channel can change from one day to another, literally one day to another. So as I explained, mine went from getting about 100 to 200 views per day to getting about 2,000 views per day in one day. However, I consistently had worked for the previous 5 months, being really consistent with my upload schedule, creating really good content, or at least what I thought was really good content, and not getting discouraged because during those first 5 months I didn't see an upward trend at all. So I was basically getting the same amount of views, the same amount of subscribers every single month without actually seeing any progress. So what I think happened on June 11th, and the reason why my channel shot up, or the reason why I believe my channel shot up, is because that exact day I reached 4,000 hours and I was able to monetize my channel. So thereafter, after June 11, I'm guessing that because my videos were monetized, YouTube started recommending them much more, and that explains the jump from 100 to 200 views per day to 2,000 views. So my subscriber count basically just mirrors my view count, so for obvious reasons, the more views I get on a given day, the more people subscribe to my channel. So at the beginning, I would average about 10 subscribers per day, and after June 11th, I started averaging about 60 subscribers per day. I also want to share with you how much I make on YouTube, simply because I know that a lot of people are considering creating a channel as a side hustle, and knowing another fellow YouTuber's income might be helpful in helping them gauge how much money they can expect to earn on a given month. So far, as you can see on the screen, I've made about $1,500 this year, but as I said, I was only monetized on June, so that money only accounts for the last 6 months. I would say that with the views that I'm averaging, which is about 90 views per month, you can expect to earn about $300. Obviously, that also depends on how much YouTube pays you per 1,000 views. YouTube pays me $3 per 1,000 views, but I know that other creators get paid much more, depending, or much less, I don't know, depending on their niche. So for example, finance videos make a lot more money, fashion videos make a lot more money, but for me, I average about $300 with 90,000 views per month. However, my paycheck can also be lower. So for example, on October and November, I got a significantly lower paycheck than I would otherwise have. For example, in comparison to September and December, because on those months, October and November, I didn't publish as many videos. So I was relying on the income that my old videos were producing. So again, there are so many ways that you can earn money with YouTube. You don't necessarily have to be monetized. Other ways that I make money on YouTube are through affiliate links and sponsorships. And you really don't have to have a huge number of subscribers in order to get sponsored. My first sponsorship I got when I only had, I think, 2,000 subscribers. So you don't need like a crazy number in order to get sponsorships. You just have to show that you can create good content and that you have a good relationship with your audience and that your engagement is high. So those are the metrics that I would advise you concentrating more in rather than your subscribers, because the number of subscribers that you have is really very out of your control, but the relationship that you can build with your audience is something that you do have control over. So I hope that looking at my analytics can give you a more realistic picture of the progress and amount of money that you can make on a given year. And now that we're talking about sponsorships, I want to thank Skillshare, which has very kindly sponsored this video. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including productivity, language learning, time management, personal development, and more. As a life learner myself, I am always trying to hone my productivity skills. So I recently started a course by YouTuber and podcaster Thomas Frank called How to Build Habits That Last. One of the main takeaways I had from this course was to limit my goal list. I am definitely the kind of person that wants to pursue 10 goals at a time, but as Thomas Frank said in his class, it takes time and deep concentration to make genuine progress in the things I want to pursue. So having a myriad goals does have the negative impact of affecting the depth at which I can pursue something. So head on to Skillshare to get access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Because the video is getting really long, I'm going to keep this starter pack really short and sweet. So basically, I just used a few things in order to start my YouTube channel. I had all of these things before I started my YouTube channel, so I didn't have to buy anything. But if you're interested, I used my iPhone to film myself. I used my MacBook and iMovie, which was already installed in my MacBook, to edit. I actually bought a tripod, I think like 5 months into starting my YouTube channel, because I figured it was really difficult for me to just get a stack of books every single time that I wanted to balance my phone and film myself. So I just got it out of the way and I bought a tripod, a $25 tripod from Amazon. Another thing that I used to edit, sort of like more slide kind of things, is Fonto, which is the thing that I used in order to edit this slide, and it is also the thing that I use for thumbnails. So that's basically it, and thank you so much for watching this video. This is a very special video for me because it basically recounts everything that my channel went through this entire year. So again, thank you so much if you're an old subscriber and you've been following me throughout this entire year, and welcome to my channel if you're a new subscriber and you want to follow my language journey. So thank you so much, guys, and I will see you next week.